everybody. Here I am in LiveFit Kitchen. I'm all by myself today and I have a new recipe for you that I developed myself. Here's how it happened. I was really hungry. I looked in the fridge and I had a red pepper that was looking a little sad. It had been in there for a little while. So I thought, well, what can I make with red pepper? And this is what I came up with. It's actually a spiced up salsa and oh my gosh, it is so good. So here's what I did. I took 1/3 cup of brown onion, chopped small, 1/3 cup of that red pepper, also chopped up pretty small, 1/3 cup of corn, and you know that I love that Trader Joe's, the organic frozen sweet corn. Oh my gosh, this stuff is so good. Leave it frozen when you make this recipe. 1/3 cup of beans. I used pinto, that's what was in the fridge. 1/6 cup of jalapenos, and you know that I like stuff really spicy, so if you're not so into spicy, you'll want to back that off a little bit. 1 cup of salsa and a little salt. Now the great thing about this recipe is that you could mix and match depending on where you are on the nutrition plan. So if you're on phase 2, you might use the beans but not the corn, or vice versa. If you're on phase 3, then you can use the whole lot. Now this makes a fairly small quantity, but I just wanted to be able to put it together easily just to show you, and then you can multiply this out and make as much as you like. This went great with eggs and also with chicken. You can put it on salad. There's like a lot of different things you can do with this. You could even take it to a party as a dip. It's really good. So I'm sure you can see the steam rising off of this already. What I have here is the onion. I cooked the onion for about 5 minutes on a fairly low heat in just a teaspoon of coconut oil. Whoops, forgot to write that on the list, sorry. Teaspoon of coconut oil. Cook the onion in it until the onion is quite browned, and then throw in your corn and mix it around a little bit and put the lid on and let it just steam, you know, because the corn's frozen, so that as it thaws, the water comes off it, and let it steam for about 3 minutes without touching it, just covered on the stove. Then take your spatula, and you'll notice that it's really quite browned. You want to move it around a little bit because the corn will brown up on one side. The more that you can get it to brown up without actually burning, the tastier this turns out. So mix it around a little bit, and then it'll need just about another 2 minutes for the corn to cook through. So while it's taking those extra couple of minutes, you can throw in the red pepper. Now I've already measured this, that's 1/3 cup, so it goes. And you want the red pepper to cook down a little bit, but not too much. So that's why I just put it in for those couple of minutes. You'll hear it all sizzle again as the moisture from the red pepper brings a little more moisture into that warm pan. So I'm on a medium to low heat, not super low, but definitely medium to low. So that's going to sit there for a couple of moments, and I need my 1/3 cup back. I'd already packed it away, so I need to measure out these beans. The beans go in almost last. So there we go. We've got 1/3 cup ready to go there. I've got my jalapenos, 1/6 cup ready to go, which, like I said, is quite a lot. So you better really love jalapenos if you use that much. Now I'm also using some salsa. You could use canned tomatoes and add some extra spices. You could even add more spices that aren't on the list here. Maybe you really love cumin, or perhaps you want some garlic in here. You can put anything you want in this recipe and it'll turn out great. I'm using the Trader Joe's roasted garlic salsa, so I'm not adding extra garlic. So we'll open that up there. See how this is doing. So that red pepper is just starting to soften, and you want it to get a little soft before you throw everything else in. You can see how pretty this is. Now the quantities on here are all phase 2 nutrition plan quantities or less, but you'll find that this makes much more than just 1 serving. I promised Jason that I would share it with him. Okay, so that's going to soften for just another moment. And then you're going to put in the jalapenos and the beans, mix them around, and then add the salsa, and it's pretty much done. You want to let it cook down maybe for just another couple of minutes, 3 minutes, maybe 5 at the absolute most, just to really let all the flavors go through. Then you could eat it straight away with chicken or with eggs, which is what I did the first time I made it. But when it sits overnight, or for a day or two, the flavors just really get so much more vibrant, and it really is a keeper. And it's something, of course, then that you can also make ahead of time if you're going to a party or something like that. So in go the 1/3 cup of beans and those lovely jalapenos. Now, if you are using perhaps maybe fresh tomatoes instead of salsa, you'll need a little more liquid in here. You want to end up with it being just a little bit liquidy to really help the flavors mix and cook down. Okay, see how pretty that is? Okay, so a cup of salsa, using my 1/3 cup measure here. So obviously you could use more or less salsa. The possibilities here are just endless. So really mix it all through, especially if you've got the peppers in there. You may choose to taste it before you add salt. I've made this a couple times now, so I know that I'm going to want just a little in there. I was watching a cooking show on TV the other day and she said, use a little salt, and she picked up a handful and threw it in this pot of boiling water. Oh my gosh, I nearly died. My aunt cooks with salt like that. Sure does taste good though, huh? But look at that, this is going to taste amazing with just a little salt and a lot of Mother Nature's natural flavors. Let's put some of this in a bowl so you can see how it turns out. Now, like I said, with eggs, with chicken, it would probably even work well with some kinds of fish, and it definitely would work as a hearty dip too. So look at that. It's pretty, it's delicious, it's totally on plan. Enjoy!